In today's video, I've been invited by renowned humidor manufacturer Elie Bleu for a rare look inside their Parisian workshop. When it comes to the world of high-end cigars, and in particular Cuban cigars, there is one manufacturer of humidors that reigns supreme, Elie Bleu. Based in Paris, a humidor from Elie Bleu represents the very pinnacle of French quality, craftsmanship, and tradition. Crafted completely by hand, these humidors are, as one would expect from the French, just as much incredible works of art as they are a place to safely store your cigars. So join me as we step inside Elie Bleu's workshop for a private tour by owner Laurent Fuchs. Well, Laurent, hey, thank you so much for having me out to this beautiful factory.
No, it's my pleasure.
And what a treat that we're in store today. I mean, Elie Bleu, literally the world's preeminent manufacturer of cigar humidors, but then also watch winders and anything, any type of cabinetry, Elie Bleu is really specializing in.
Thank you. I would say it's a strange thing. The company started making wooden objects,
okay,
and afterwards, in the second time, we started doing some cabinets, and pretty quickly we started with humidors because during the late 70s, beginning of the 80s, Dunhill wanted some humidors and went to Elie Bleu and asked Elie Bleu to make the humidors for Dunhill.
Okay.
And that's how Elie Bleu started the process.
Yeah.
And probably with the time, Elie Bleu managed really to master this very special product, because there is some needs, some technical needs, I would say, because it has to seal perfectly well.
Yeah.
The humidity must not get out of the box. It must not warp, even though we have to maintain the inside with around 70% of humidity. And Elie Bleu became really a master in that craftsmanship.
Yeah.
And in a second time, I would say, Elie Bleu started to produce under its own name with its own design.
And when did that occur? At what kind of time period?
I would say by the end of the 80s.
80s, okay.
Beginning probably was we started with Dunhill. We also worked with another brand, Hermès.
Yeah.
And we were doing for them some desk products for the desk. And I would say late 80s, Elie Bleu started to design for itself. And what was done was probably pretty original, because it was the idea of making traditional boxes like it was done during the 90s, but in wood for a humidor, and not like it was done with paper and photos and things like this. And the idea was to dye the veneer. So color is extremely important for the brand. We always have some very colorful products, even though we do natural veneer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the things that is clear from the work, I mean, we have one of your humidors right here that is part of an annual kind of series of really, super intricate, incredible craftsmanship, fine design. And this really showcases, the degree to which Elie Bleu is able to create these scenes on the humidors. So something more than just a veneered box, but something that in and of itself is a piece of art.
Yes, I agree. In fact, I'd like maybe to mention other things about how the fame arrived with Elie Bleu.
Please.
To Elie Bleu. I wanted to mention it because it arrived in the United States.
Really? Okay.
Yes. The fame of the brand started in the United States. I would say early, mid-90s, a boom started about cigars. Probably late 80s. It was all the problems with the cigarettes, and all the major companies were started to be sued because of them promoting tobacco. And the cigar arrived as being something totally different, not a compulsive way of smoking, but a way of smoking with pleasure and not with addiction. And at that time, a man really felt that. The same person who felt that the wine was important in the United States, and he started with Wine Spectator.
Marvin Shaken.
Marvin Shaken.
Yeah.
And he started with Cigar Aficionados. And he fall in love with Elie Bleu and said, it is the product. From there, all the American people that started again to smoke the cigar because it was really booming between 93 or something like this and 98, nearly the sales of the cigars doubled every year. So they were in need of humidors. And the humidor
Of choice.
was the Elie Bleu one.
Yeah.
And in
As
fact,
it remains today.
thank you. And at that time, he said that it was the A+ product, and the fame in the state was very important. And afterwards, when American people were traveling in Europe, they were asking for the Elie Bleu. We are looking for Elie Bleu when they were traveling in Europe, and especially in France. And because of them, they spread the fame all over Europe. And
That's
worldwide.
fascinating.
Yes.
Yeah. One of the other things that Elie Bleu is extremely famous for are these incredible collaborations with Habanos and these limited edition humidors that can go for hundreds of thousands of dollars when filled with the cigars. And I know that you've done collaborations with Habanos, with Hunters and Francau, and most of the major cigar brands. How has that started, and what are some of the most important humidors that you've worked on?
That was another major step. Beginning of 2000, in fact, in 2006, Habanos came to us and they said, we need to have a very special humidor for the 40th anniversary of our most prestigious cigar, Cohiba. They came to me. I did not know them at that time.
So amazing to think of today.
Yes. And they said, we need something exceptional. So we started to discuss. They arrived with a Spanish designer, and finally we set a very special humidor made of stingray, ebony, mother of pearl. It was an extraordinary piece, and they decided that we should produce 100 pieces of them with 40 cigars for the 40th anniversary.
Yeah.
And they said, we need to do something very outstanding. And this humidor with the 40 cigars was selling at $15,000. At that time, it probably was the most expensive cigar in the world. And nobody could imagine that it was possible to sell that.
Yeah.
But they were sold out even before we could finalize or finish the last product. And it was an extraordinary thing because in each product, we engraved a metallic plate with the name of the owner. So we had to engrave all the plates so we knew to whom were sold these extraordinary pieces.
I can only imagine the list.
It was, yes.
You know, a who's who of
Exactly.
world elite.
Yes. I dare not to mention them because probably this is not my role to mention it, but it was extraordinary people.
Yeah.
And in fact, they succeeded in their dream, I would say, in a certain way, setting something at that price. 10 years after, 2016, they came to me and they said, now we need, for the 50th anniversary, which is
Even bigger.
Even bigger. So we were placed in competition with other suppliers, designers, but we came out with a design they liked very much.
Yeah, and it's behind us right now.
And this design is behind us, absolutely. We decided to take the leaves of tobacco from Cuba and covered them with gold. And of course, you can see all the squares because this is a signature of Cohiba, it's always a square. So we came out with this design and they said, yes, we love it. But at that time, I remember that I had to speak with all the distributors of Habanos throughout the world. And some of them told me, you know the 40th anniversary? We got it at a certain price. Today, someone who has a complete set can sell it 10 times higher, $150,000.
Amazing.
Amazing. 10 years after, what can be multiplied by 10? It's like a piece of art.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, what amazes me about what Havanos has done is the collectability. And, not just the collectability of the cigars, but you put it together with this incredible object of art, the humidor, which in and of itself is collectible. You really have this, synergy where, 2 plus 2 is not 4.
No.
In this case, 2 plus 2 is 10. Incredible cigars, limited edition, commemorating something, extraordinary. With the humidor, limited edition, commemorating something extraordinary, and it's the peak, the pinnacle.
Yes, I agree. So we came out with this product, and we presented it at the fair, at the Havanos Fair in 2016. And during the auction, the number one product was sold 320,000 euro or dollars. Yeah. And it was the most expensive product because there were only 50 cigars.
Mm-hmm. That you'll never smoke. Yeah.
Alors, that's a point. How can you smoke something like this? I don't know. But some people, they do smoke it.
Yeah.
Because, in fact, even the 40th anniversary that was sold in different places and in certain hotels in London, they were selling a single cigar. And it's possible, but I agree. How can you smoke it?
I think that if you buy a humidor like that, I'm told that you can actually have it refilled. So they'll re-roll those cigars for you. So that you can be so fortunate to actually enjoy them, something for which you've paid so much money.
But each cigar is numbered. So in fact, when you smoke it, you cannot replace it because it has a number, a single number.
Yeah.
And afterwards, they asked me to produce 49 other pieces that were sold out. And I heard that if someone would like to buy this number one piece that was bought in Belgium, it would be worth $1 million today.
Incredible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is incredible.
Yeah. When you've really kind of continued that, that series, that idea of doing something in a limited edition, with this particular box we have right here. So, can you talk a little bit about kind of your design process? Yes. I mean, where does the idea for something like this germinate, and then how does it go from an idea in your head to this absolutely magnificent, piece of art that is an Elie Bleu humidor?
Probably the idea of collecting products came out from Havanos because they suddenly set this idea because they were collectible. They were products that people were willing to have. And at the moment, I thought we should do something quite different. And I don't know how and when, but I had this idea of doing a whole city, a Cuban city.
Okay.
And that's how it started. And we started this line that was called the Casa Cubana, which was the Cuban houses. And we started with the Tabacaria Real, which is the Royal Tobacco Factory.
Okay.
And that was the first piece. And I thought probably, it was a nice piece, but I did not expect that suddenly it would become a product that people really were willing to have and to collect. And suddenly, each time we were producing one of these houses, they were sold out because people were willing to get, I think.
They wanted all of them.
All of them. Exactly. Catch them all.
Us men. I mean, whenever you set us onto something, next thing you know, we start trying to collect.
That's right. And of course, each time we have to think about what model we shall do. And it starts by drawing. And I can show you. Let's say this one started by a drawing that I did. This is the very first step. At the very beginning, I wanted the roof to be like the roof of the
cathedral.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And then put a top. But finally, it was found to be so complicated that we just set the sky. But this is the very beginning. And afterwards, when we do this, of course, I'm taking some elements I'm trying to say, it's very important to have the columns, and I'm always putting some elements to say what I need, and afterwards there's a draw that is coming out because we have to draw the design here with in order to manufacture it, and when I'm looking at it, then I'm transforming things. I say no, I want it slightly different, and then we start to have the first elements. And then from the first element, I alter them in order. It's the capital. It's the.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's their capital. It's the capital of Cuba.
It's on my bucket list, Cuba.
Exactly. So voila, that's the way it evolves. And at the very end, it comes out like this.
Yeah, amazing. Which in and of itself is hundreds of pieces of inlay. And then what's interesting on this is, in addition to the inlay, you're adding on top of that these metallic elements and other things that create this dimensionality, even hand painting it, some of it, is that correct?
Exactly, and sometimes we hand paint in order to have something very exclusive. Because all the idea is that the person who's going to buy the product will never really get what he's expecting. Yeah. It's going to be slightly different. At the moment, I did, it was a few years before, and it was around, skulls, and it was about vanity. And at that time, during the 17th century, all the idea was that man was trying to become like a god and wanted to behave himself, and it was a difficult moment. And the thing is, I thought that in a certain way, creativity and creation was escaping the creator.
Okay.
And at that time, we started to do products that you had an image, but in fact, what you were getting was always different because during the course of the production, something was happening, and we are losing, in fact, the creation. The creation was not the one that was expected, like human people.
Yeah,
are not exactly what we expect.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, it's a beautiful process, and it's all done here in your factory.
All done here, 100%.
Yeah, 100% on site.
Yes.
Yeah. So where does it all begin, and then how many steps are involved, and what does this process actually take?
I would say from the beginning until the end, it takes like more or less 8 weeks.
Okay.
But of course, it starts with the veneer, it starts with the log, and this is a part I like very much to choose. It's my pleasure to travel around. I would say not the world, because I'm traveling mainly in Europe, because even though we have some, of course, veneer and wood that is coming from abroad, Europe, they are important, and there I'm choosing them, and when I like them, I buy them, and afterwards we manufacture.
Yeah, amazing. How many of these are part of the series?
There's only 88 pieces. 88. Only 88, and from the moment it has
they're all sold already.
Sold out.
Yeah.
Yes. No, you have to book them really ahead and say, what is the next piece?
Yeah. I need my name on next year's wait list.
Exactly. And sometimes it's possible to personalize. If you say, okay, I want one for me, I would like to paint
me in there.
Yeah, and to be in there. Paint myself in there. And we may do a little person there.
In the window.
Yes, in the window saying hello.
Yeah, that's amazing.
We did them.
Yeah. Well, can we see the factory?
Yes, we will have a look at the factory.
Yeah. Wow. So this is the veneer room.
Yes. Well, that's probably the treasure place. This is a very important element, because in fact, it's what you're going to see is the veneer. So I would say now we work a lot with sycamore.
Okay.
Sycamore is our favorite because sycamore is a very light wood, light in terms of color. And it's possible to dye the sycamore without changing too much the colors.
Okay.
So, and then you have this very special shape, this
look at the
special
wood grain.
which looks like satin. It really is like silk or satin. And that's the reason why it gives a kind of vibration to the product. So it's a wood that I like very much. So I'm sourcing it, and afterwards, since Elie Bleu is really known for being very colorful, we try to dye it in many, many different colors.
Okay. And so this is what allows you to still use a natural wood, but then achieve these really colorful pictures.
Absolutely. In a certain way, it's a transgressive way of using wood, because maybe we would imagine that we should let it like it is, but we rework on it and change the color of it. So there's a little transgression there.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's, again, one of the things that's allowed Elie Bleu to continue to evolve and go to the next level. I mean, it's not just beautifully veneered humidors, but these incredibly intricate designs like the one we saw upstairs that are like pictures.
Yes, absolutely. And probably in the past, it would have been done with natural veneer. And this is something very unique to Elie Bleu, or we were probably the first to go there, to start with the colors.
Yeah, amazing. What about natural woods? I mean, how do you choose, or how many do you have?
Oh, certainly dozen of them.
So these are the natural woods?
Yes, we also have some natural woods, and amongst them, I would say, there's one that I like very much, is the olive tree. That has a very nice grain, and if you smell it, it has a very special scent. And this is one I like very much, but also probably the most expensive one and the most incredible is the Royal Ebony.
Okay.
Royal Ebony is also called white ebony because it's not like only a solid black color. It's really white off, I would say, plus all these very special movement in it. And each log is different from one to the other one.
And this is natural, like this is not treated, dyed, bleached.
No.
I mean, this is how it comes from nature.
Absolutely. We would think that we are using, Chinese ink, Chinese black ink, which is not the case. It's really natural. It's coming out like this.
Wow.
And this wood is originated in Laos. Most of them are coming from Laos, and usually next to temples.
Really?
Why so? I don't know.
Really?
Yes, that's what I heard.
Fascinating.
We have also some Makassar ebony, which is with stripes. It's a very exotic, it's an exotic and very nice wood because ebony is always something, just the name of it is extraordinary. This is red gum. I like very much the red gum because it has some very special movement into it. And this one has been smoked. Normally it should be, the difference of color is stronger, but there it's this kind of color is not natural. It's because it's the smoke that gave it this fudge color.
Yeah, and I guess almost in the same way with the bespoke pair of shoes that you're really selecting the material. I mean, the pattern is cut out and, from only the best areas of the leather. Here with an Elie Bleu humidor, I mean, you're taking, a sheet of paper or a sheet of veneer, but you may just be using a few parts of it.
That's right. It's a shame to say so because we are using a natural product, and at the very end, we are taking the very best of it.
Yeah.
And that's right. And sometimes when there's some small defects, I'm taking them off. So it means that when we are building up a humidor, we have used much more veneer than the surface you can see.
Yeah.
Alors, of course, it's for the pleasure of the eye,
Yeah.
because we have some extraordinary looks. But that's right. There's a lot of wood that disappear.
Yeah. And then so after you make your selections, then at what point do you start actually kind of cutting the motif out or kind of building the designs?
Well, we decide, let's say we decide that we'll do an olive with olive veneer. So from that moment, we take out the veneer, and the person who's doing that is choosing something which is very coherent, because of course we have to surround the product plus to put the lead. So he has to select them, and that's a real, it looks like being very natural and easy, and this is a performance. And the person doing this is very skillful, and he's within the company since probably more than 10 years old. And now he knows exactly how to do it. And sometimes we make special combination when there's a specific motif, and when we come out with something we like, then we try to reproduce it.
Amazing.
So we choose the veneer, and of course then we realize the piece. Either it's a solid one, but it can be also, of course, as we will discover, made of marquetry. When it's made of marquetry, it's the next step.
Yeah.
So I will show you the next step.
Thank you. So Laurent, this is where the veneer starts then?
Yes, we do select the veneer from our storehouse, I would say, warehouse, and afterwards we have selected it. We are going to work with our laser cut in order to cut all the different pieces. It's a kind of puzzle, and afterwards we inlay them, each part of it, as you will be able to see in a short while.
Okay. And so this is kind of the puzzle, it's like building a puzzle.
It's like building a puzzle, absolutely. And as many pieces, the more sophisticated, because it takes more time.
Yeah. And I mean, what's the most, I mean, like something like this tiger, which is for Year of the Tiger, how many different inlay elements are just on the top of the box?
I would say probably like 35 pieces.
Wow.
The tiger has been just cut out, and Simon, who's here, is going to take off the veneer, take off I would say, the tiger, and then he's going to set, I would say, the tiger with another kind of veneer, and all the small details that are going to be like all the shades in black, and he's going to set them inside the veneer.
Yeah.
It's a kind of padouk making the tiger, and it's a natural color.
Yeah.
And it's really like the stripes of the tiger.
It's amazing. So how much time will go into this process alone?
Oh, I would say for a piece like this one, he's going to take probably like an hour.
Okay.
On this piece, special piece.
Yeah. And this is just one side of the box. I mean, on a lot of your humidors, it's just as intricate.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's say if you look at this one, it's only the tape.
The top,
the top,
the lid.
sorry. Yeah, the lid, the top. And but in other pieces, like I would say this one is going to be with marquetry all over. And then, of course, a piece like this one is probably it's going to be a day of work, more than that, probably 2 days of work just for the marquetry, the puzzle. Alors, here is the tiger. This is the final.
Wow, Trevian. I mean, this is amazing.
This is a piece Simon has realized, and the piece is finalized. Afterwards, it's going to be glued on the box itself.
Okay.
And then we sand the box. And then we are going to add some metallic elements in order to have something with movement. It's going to be shiny, and then we feel there's a 3D movement into it.
Can I see the back? So the back,
and the back, we have set a tape.
So that's how it's all held together at this stage.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, in fact, we are going to glue it this way, and then we take off.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The top.
Wow. This is, I mean, look at that. Yeah. Unbelievable.
We've seen the marquetry now, and I'm going to show you another part of the production where we set all these metallic elements on a box that is already realized.
Yeah,
done.
Amazing. Well,
yeah.
Shall we?
this stage, the box is already done. We've done
Okay.
the marquetry like we've seen previously. So this is, it's the city of La Habana.
Wow.
And in fact, here we are setting all the metallic elements. And so it's going to enhance, I would say, the marquetry, which is probably looking a little more flat. And there we get probably an idea of a three-dimension image.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, these are absolutely stunning cabinets. So these are cabinets for cigars.
They are cabinets for cigars. I would say this is a very special line. We call it the Casa Cubana.
Okay.
And it started now 4 years ago. We started to do this. And my idea was to make a whole Havana Cuban city. And we started like this with a limited edition of each places. So we started with the manufacturing of the tobacco, then an hotel, then we did a theater, and now we do this.
Wow.
In fact, it has only 99 pieces of each, and people are becoming crazy about this line because they want to collect them. And so now some people are looking to get the whole city, I would say. And we probably have done like 10 different pieces with different, I would say, purposes. And maybe next time it's going to be maybe an opera. And all the idea is to create this city.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a real work of art. I mean, you see it practiced at this level, and it's very clear why Elie Bleu is known as the preeminent humidor and really box maker in the world. I mean, this is absolutely stunning. And look at the detail of the flowers on the window.
Exactly. Sometimes what we try to do in order not to have 99 identical pieces is we start painting some elements. And there we have the example. We have a painting on it, on the side, on the front part. And that way, all the
Totally
pieces...
one of a kind.
Exactly.
Wow.
And you never know what you will get.
And so this process right here is, again, they're overlaying these metallic elements and kind of individualizing each cabinet.
Absolutely.
Even across the series of 99.
Exactly. And you can see on the back part, here on the yellow part, if you look here, you have the number of the piece. And this one is only 88. It's the number 44 out of 88.
There we go. Are these all already sold, spoken for?
In fact, even sometimes we do not present the picture. We just say we come out with a cabinet with a Casa Cubana, sold out. The 88 pieces are already sold before we even show the image.
Amazing. This detail right here really is stunning.
Yes, it's sometimes maybe I'm thinking that that's the difference between a product and a piece of art.
Yeah. Well, it certainly, I mean, makes these masterpieces.
Yes, and a unique piece, something
one of
that
a kind,
yes, one of a kind.
Even across this series. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's next? So this is all but complete as far as this stage of the process.
Yes.
All of the inlays have been done.
Yes.
The embellishments have been added. Any of the hand painting, the metallic details have been added.
Yes, at that stage, in fact, the box has been done. It has been sanded. Everything is finalized in terms of wood and decorative elements. So we have to go afterwards to encapsulate the product into the varnish. So we go in the varnishing area where we first isolate the wood. We need to isolate like between 1 to 5 days, depending on the veneer itself, because some veneers are very difficult to isolate. And afterwards, we varnish it. And we set between 6 to 10 layers of lacquers. So it's that way.
Yeah, let's go.
At this stage, all the marquetry has been done. It has been sanded. We've set the metallic elements. And now we need to isolate the wood, as I explained you. So we'll pour a special kind of varnish in order to isolate the veneer. And then from there, we'll go here. Here, it has been isolated already. So you can see it is slightly shiny and it covers, in fact, the grain of the wood. Because it's not possible to set the varnish before we isolate the wood. Otherwise, it would not be able to stick to the wood. From there, when it has been done, then we will set all the layers of lacquers in this.
And so that's where you're spraying it, and you said 6 to 12 different layers.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. I mean, this box right here is another great example of just the intricacy of the work. I mean, just the number of inlays to get that design. And then it also shows the metallic elements and the three-dimensionality, kind of layering these things onto the humidor itself before it's varnished. And that's whenever you look into the varnish, you kind of see this beautiful kind of depth.
Absolutely, because even when we varnish it, of course, you cannot feel, but you can see that it's a three-dimensional element.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Now, I'm going to show you how to sand the wood.
Okay, excellent.
This is, I would say, probably one of the last steps. The product has been really finalized. We have varnished it, and we've set all the metallic elements inside. I would say the trim to have a perfect sealing. And now we have to get the transparency of the lacquer.
Okay.
So we have, I would say, like 6 steps to get a transparency.
Okay.
We first sand it with some paper, with these kinds of machine. We have 3 types of sanding paper with thinner and thinner grain. And then we have a paste to get the transparency. So here the first paste has a grain, and then the last one is really a polish, a real finish.
Okay.
And from there, afterwards, of course, we need to clean it because, of course, the paste goes all around the product.
Yeah.
So, but it's, of course, a major element, the polishing, because it gives the final touch of the product.
Yeah, that which you expect from an Elie Bleu humidor is that beautiful,
shiny, transparent. Yes, absolutely. This part is a major one because, of course, it's going to give the final touch of the product. But also, as you can see, it's an extremely physical part.
Yeah.
You have to be extremely fitted to do it.
Yeah. Well, what's amazing is kind of the combination of the precision and the finesse of the inlays and the hand painting combined with this, which is, as you said, quite physical and hard work. I mean, the woodworking, I mean, is
Yeah,
It's a real
but
craft.
yes, it's very physical. But on the other hand, it has to be extremely precise because if you polish it too much, you take off the varnish.
Yeah.
So, the varnish is not that thick, so you have to be very skillful.
Yeah.
And it looks like being just probably we call it the gym place here because it's like gymnastic.
Yeah.
But in fact, you have to be extremely delicate.
Yeah. Amazing. So then after this, it's polished up, and there's still a little bit more sanding to be done or polishing?
Well, when it's finalized, we control the product, then we clean the product, and then it will go for the final control.
Okay. Excellent.
So Kirby, at this stage, in fact, we have already prepared this piece, only this face. We have polished it in order to set the metallic elements. And there, it's a funny moment because you can see one face polished and the other one unpolished.
So this
Both
one is...
are varnished, but one polished and the other one not.
So this is a thick layer
Yes.
that's applied, and then it's sanded down into this just...
Until you get a transparency and it's the softness of the
amazing.
touch.
That's incredible. And then you get all these details.
They come out. And you can feel that it's a 3D element. Not touching them, but with the view.
Yeah.
You can see that it's not
All
inlaid,
hardwood.
it's
On
a
top.
3D element.
I mean, the work is masterful. Yeah.
Thank you.
And then I guess after this, then it goes to have the hardware put in?
Exactly, we set the hardware and then we are going to polish the other faces.
Other sides.
The other sides,
Okay.
yeah. Well, that's really the final stage. The product has been built up, varnish has been set, it has been polished, we've set the hardware, and now we've cleaned the product and we have to control the product and see if there's any defect.
Yeah.
So at that stage, it's really, it's very important because sometimes we discover something we don't want, so then it has to go back and we do it again.
Yeah.
But there, it's controlled before we set the product in a microfiber pouch in order to protect the varnish because of course it's very delicate and might be, scratched very easily. So we have to really protect it, and afterwards we will set it in our blue box.
Yeah.
And this is because of the it's the Elie Bleu touch. It's the blue box, the Elie Bleu touch.
Amazing. And so, I mean, it's just at this point, it's incredible to think of all the work that's gone into the creation.
Hours of
this.
work. Creation, but also process of making it.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. At that stage, of course, when the product is not perfect, it's a disaster. So we try to be, because there's hours and hours of work there.
Amazing.
Yes.
I mean, a true French luxury brand. I mean, this is French craftsmanship, French luxury, kind of at its highest level. And it's really, as an American, kind of what I think of French luxury are these incredible, objects of art, that aren't just, paintings on walls, but things that you can live, that live amongst you.
Yes, and I feel like it's part of the pleasure. I mean, of course, to smoke a very good cigar, it's nice. But if you need the surrounding,
The accoutrement.
exactly.
Yeah.
And this surrounding is
Yeah,
is a box
makes
line.
all the difference.
It makes the whole
Yeah,
difference.
it's like drinking a fine wine out of a plastic cup.
It would be a disaster.
You need a proper,
Yes.
Riedel stemware, very, hand blown. I mean, those
agree.
small details make all the
Yes.
difference in the
Yes,
world.
imagine to drink as a cup of champagne, and
Yeah.
you need to have it in a glass
Yeah.
of a crystal glass.
Yeah. One of the other things about the Elie Bleu that always strikes me is just, again, this is wood, a natural material you're working with, but the precision with which the box closes, you could drop the lid and it just because
The
of,
softness, yes.
I mean, and it's not mechanical, it's merely because of the precision with which it's created, naturally closes softly.
Absolutely.
And it's astounding. I mean, that really speaks to all those details throughout this entire process that are paid attention to in the highest of tolerances.
Yes, and it's another signature of the brand, the way it closes. It's a lot of hours of work. We have to master all these things, but we sometimes are called masters. But I'd like to say that we never master what
Really?
we do.
Yeah.
Yes, because we have to work with wood, and wood has its own life. Sometimes it may warp, it may move. We never know what we are going to discover when we start working a piece of wood. It's really something quite strange because, especially in this world where we think that we can master elements, when we can
control it all.
and control everything, we do not control 100% of what we do. We have to face many occurrences that are appearing for us, and this is something that is really part of, I would say, of the work and part of the achievement of what we do.
Well, I guess that's part of the challenge, but it's also part of the magic of working with natural materials.
I agree.
And a true master would probably never call themselves one, but I can, from my perspective, certainly say that you guys have mastered this. And these are truly masterpieces. I mean, the Elie Bleu humidors are true objects of art. So, Laurent, thank you so much
Kirby.
for sharing your passion.
Thank you very much.
I mean, the
for
quality
coming and visiting us.
the craftsmanship and the tradition really is shown at the absolute highest level here. And it was been such an honor and a privilege to have you show that with me.
Thank you, Kirby.
Yeah, thank you.